Hey, let's get let's get into this vertical YouTube format. And what time is it? What's going on? What's going on? All right, here we go. Let me keep my comments right here. So we can make sure we can see everything. We got a good discussion that is taking place. I think. Let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Richard, what's going on? MP Studios. So we got a good discussion that is taking place, and I wanted to. I spoke about it a little bit on Instagram, but then I was like, let me bring it to the YouTube side, and I want to get you all's opinion on this. All right. Now I know we got natural light photographers, and we have off-camera flash photographers. And what this boils down to is the new gear that's constantly coming out, right? We always got more and more gear coming out. Uh just got the notification. Yeah, so we going live. What's going on, bro? So I was talking about off-camera flash on Instagram yesterday. Um but I wanted to chime in and get everyone else's perspective on the YouTube side. Now, probably I want to say 2019, around 2019, okay? If you are if you are predominantly an off-camera flash photographer, let me know what brand of flash you shoot with. Let me know in the chat. If you are predominantly, if you consider yourself, if you use Flash, let me know what Flash system you use in the comments because I want to kind of dive into that just a little bit and make sure you hit that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate that as well. So back to what I was saying. Almost about 2019, 2020 is when I got my first flash. All right. My very, very first. Let's say strobe because the first flash that I bought was a young Nuo. All right. Young Nuo. And I quickly figured out that that was not the route that I wanted to go with using the um flashes for photos because my young Nuo took batteries, right? So it wasn't efficient at all. Um, so I kind of like skipped over that. I was like, yeah, that's not really gonna work for me because I just found myself consistently having to buy batteries every day. All right. Um, I would get probably like, no exaggeration, maybe like 20 shots before it died. So I was like, it has to be a better way. And that is when I stumbled across the Godox AD200. All right. The Godox AD200. If you have any experience with the Godox AD200, let me know in the chat. All right, Page Style says, I got into photography because of Flash and I use Godox. Now, I will definitely say there is a clear distinction between natural light and flash. All right. And I would say that's kind of the same route that I kind of took. It was always something that popped out to me whenever whenever I seen flash photos, and that's why I kind of levitated to using flash in the beginning. Thank you all for joining. Hit that like button for me, and also um, make sure you drop the flash system that you use in the comments. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think we all are kind of on the same page. A Canon flash came with my Rebel T5i. Listen, I had nothing come with mine. I had absolutely nothing. I was actually on the opposite side of things where I was trying to figure things out where I would buy I would buy like a modifier and then I would be stuck saying, okay, how do I attach this light to this modifier? I didn't know anything about Bowen's mount. I was also kind of skeptical because, even with like the clamps that you get, the adapters, like the S2 adapter, um, you still it's like, man, it's still like light leakage, right? Like everything is not seamless as I would have thought it would be. Let's see. Griffin, what's going on? A young new one? Flashpoint. All right. The 8200 is perfect setup for me. Started with Paul Buffstrobe, switched to Godox. Kenneth. Okay. So see, we got that's what I love about this conversation right here. Because we have a lot of people with a lot of different experiences. And that's why I wanted to chime into this community and get you all's opinion. Um, Now to the 8200, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I would definitely say the 8200 is a GOAT in its own right when it comes to Flash. The 8200 is a GOAT. I feel like it started off a lot in the Flash community. Now, also, I want to say that my content creation career is kind of in line with the beginning of Godox. Not necessarily the very start, but I know that there are some flash systems that uh came before Godox. And a lot of you all like Paul C. Buff. I heard Alien Bees also. All of that was kind of before me, what people used to use before. So as soon as I came into the photography community, I kind of started right off into I got the Young Newell pop-up flash, and then after that it was just straight Godox. During COVID, Amazon had amazing deals on photography gear, and I was doing a YouTube channel for fragrances at the time. Okay, Paige Styles giving us the daily fragrances with the atomizers and the apricot apricot scents. All right. Hey, you need that smell good. You know what is what's the summer vibes, what's the summer fragrances, all of that good stuff. Um, I have the 8200 Pro, 8400 Pro, Explorer 600 non TTL, but I do portraits now. Okay, and that kind of leads me directly into. So we have some people that say Paul C. Buff. Um, Paul C. Buff. Any of you all remember the Alien Bees as another one? Um, but the 8200, I wanna talk about that for a brief second because a lot of times I'll say the Godox 8200 is like the flash for beginners, and I'll say kind of on a budget. Man, it still kind of is expensive. Like if I'm being realistic, but I would rather buy a 8200 one time, and just get it out the way. All right. So if we talk about reliability, versus cost, I would definitely rather pay for that than to, I know people that got several young Newell flashes where you got to keep buying those batteries. Being able to put two 8200s is fire. Now that 80 B2 attachment is definitely solid. I think that was I I I I know this is being used loosely, but I think that was definitely a game changer. Having the attachment to put two 8200s together and effectively getting 400 watts of light. I did a video from 2020 and 2023, and it started photography watching you, Black Dish, and Ike. I did a video from 2020 to 2023. Okay, okay, and in 2024. Okay, so Buff makes alien bees. Okay, okay. Mike Park, what's going on? We're talking about the current off-camera flash system that we use. Yeah, trying to being able to put both of them together. Okay. So I remember being exposed to the alien bees, and somebody invited me to their studio. And what happened was ironically enough, y'all, no matter how much photography stuff I do, I I get booked a lot, but I get booked a lot to do video. So somebody was doing they were doing like some family minis. They were doing some family minis and they tagged me in as a video person. So um I was like, okay, and they needed some help with their flash. So she had the alien bees set up. I had never used the alien bees, but that's where I first came into it. Two 8200s, the mag dish 40 is my go-to wedding setup. Okay. Paul Buff also makes white lightning lights. Okay. I learned off-camera flash with 200. Okay, so the chat, the question that I want to bring to you all, which I felt like would be a good question, is would you all consider the Godox 8200 the GOAT? Would you consider the Godox 8200 the GOAT in the off-camera flash community? It kind of started something, right? And of course, we got the 300, the 400, the 600 that kind of came afterwards. But I do feel like that 8200 holds a special place. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I'm going to make a more formal video, but I just wanted to talk with the community because that is the light that I started off with, the 8200. And I had all these different types of attachments um that allow me to get creative with my with my lighting. And also, this is something that is great information. Like think about when you first started off. This is like great information that somebody else that doesn't necessarily know their way could take heed to, and it could be informative, right? So let's see. So we got the OG 8200 right here with the bare bulb attachment. If you're not shooting this with the bare bulb attachment, you're missing out. All right. You got is bare bulb or nothing. All right. All right. So POV says hands down the GOAT. All right, Richard, I would agree it's the GOAT. Okay. Pager style, since I shoot in the sunlight, I have to go 8400 respectively. Respectively, I definitely understand that. So the 8200 does have its limitations. All right. The 8200 is the OG of Flash. Okay, okay, okay. Weddings equals 280, 200s. Little League creative portraits equals 8400. Okay, okay. So I think we all on the page. Okay, okay. We don't have too much to debate here. Okay. I saw you went back to the 50 millimeter. How would that be for an Oni lens on the Rebel T7? So that's a good question. So true. I have 4 of these. Okay, okay. So everybody is kind of well in the community. See, this is we have a great consensus. Everybody is kind of in the same zone in terms of yes, we agree. The 8200 is something to be said about the 8200. On that 50 millimeter, if it is a true 50 millimeter lens, because if it's getting cropped or things like that, but I think I could work with a 50. If I had to pick like a start off lens, it would be a 35 or 50. I love it because it's portable. 1,000%. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because, like y'all said, this is the OG. This is undoubtedly the OG. And with the OG, there's new things that come come into play. And so they sent me they sent me the newer version, all right, which is the 8200 Mark II, which also has some upgrades that we can kind of get into. All right. And the reason why I'm going with this video is because one one I have to I want to compare the two. All right. I want to compare the two. So we got the OG, and then we got the new and improved 8200 Mark II. But one of the questions that I get asked a lot is which flash should I get? All right. Which flash should I get? Now, let me turn the table to you all because I always get asked the question. If somebody was just starting out and they said, "Hey, I'm new in the photography community, but I love the look that off-camera flash produces." What would you all recommend that person get? Drop that in the comments and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's a few things that uh, are different between these flashes, and um, the question becomes: is it worth getting the upgraded version, or would you just stick to the OG version? Because I think there is some cost savings there. So so now you got this person asking you which flash to get, and I want to be truthful. I want to be truthful with everybody. If from your photography perspective, what would you all say? If you're working, it's the GOAT. It's the most versatile light ever made. Okay. I just went from the Rebel T5i to the R6 Mark II. Hey, congratulations on that page. The new one won't overheat as fast. Okay, okay. Now that's a valid point right there. All right, let's see what else. 8200 hands down. Okay. So Carlton says 8200 hands down. Okay, Richard, I recommend the 400. Okay. Okay. Kenneth 8200 Mark II. POV 28200s with the ND filter. Okay. I'm going to truly recommend now knowing Godox if you're broke. Westcott if you have a small budget, and Pro Photo if you have pockets because they have the easiest user interface. Okay, I like the tiers. I like the tiers of the selections. You give them some choices. I would say a 8200 just for them to see if they like the look and experience. I guess the Pro would be good for a little bit of future proofing. Okay, I understand. Uh, right now, depending on what they shoot, I say get a 8200 and try it out. Take 200 watts as far as you can. Okay, Mason Mason says 8300. Okay, okay. So we got a couple different perspectives. Now, if this person says that they have a budget, would you still offer them the 8400? Also, if this person says I travel a lot, would you still offer the 400 as well? Um, I'm glad nobody really said a 600. Because that's like you throwing them in the deep end just out the gate, just out the gate. Now, some of y'all did express the overheating factor. Now, how many of y'all actually faced uh dealt with the overheating with the 8200? Well, the OG 8200. How many of y'all experienced the overheating? Because that definitely could be a problem. I've seen a few things where overheating is one. They got like the user interface, um, and a few upgrades that kind of makes me lean towards going with the Mark II versus the Mark One, which is to which is to be expected, right? You wanna make improvements on your last version. And also, I feel like they had more than enough time to take in that user feedback and actually um, implement it into the new design. Okay, so Paige, my opinion is skewed because I'm 40 just getting into Flash as compared to a 20-year-old just getting into photography or Flash photography, period. Okay, we'll take that. So we'll take your opinion with a grain of salt. Carlton, for the price of an 8400, you could get two um of the older AD200s. That is true. That is true. Okay. And then you add an ADB2 and voila, you got you a setup right there. You got you a setup right there. Now, it's hard to determine what's people budget nowadays. So when I'm trying to recommend something, I'm trying to look at it from a perspective of if I was this person with this budget, could I afford this? Right? Because I'm gonna be honest, when I first started, I did not realize how much of an expensive hobby I was getting into. So when I looked at buying the Young Nuo Flash for $67 versus buying an 8200 for $300, I easily said, "Oh, I'm gonna go with the Young Nuo. I'm not paying $300 for no Flash. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm paying $300." So I think it's a couple things that have to happen, and this is information that we are collectively giving to the community right now because people will rewatch this and they will see your comments. So while you're commenting, keep that in mind to inform the community at large who will eventually see this. That's new looking for flashes or somebody that's looking to add a flash also. But I think if I'm being realistic with myself, when I first started off, and mind you, I started off in 2020. That's when I really started doing photography. Um, and I didn't get a 8200 until halfway, maybe, yeah. I didn't get an 8200 until halfway into 2020. So, it was almost 2021 at that point. All right, let's see. So, Page Adorama had an open box sale for the 8400, $309. That's a steal right there. That's a steal right there. Or Flashpoint, I should say. Mike Park. Oh, no problem, no problem. All right, Richard. I never had issues with the overheating on my 200, and the 400 not bad to travel with. You can shoot whenever. Budget for the 400 because it's still cheaper than two 200s. Okay, so I will agree. I now this could be kind of skewed because I was shooting with my 8200 a lot. But what I ended up doing was, like halfway into 2020, um, this now let me take you all back just a little bit. Okay, 2020 that I started this channel, right? Started doing photography. I bought the young Nuos. I started realizing, I think that's the best way to kind of learn in a sense, is I started realizing why I needed a 8200, why I needed more power. So the young Nuo really established a baseline for me to kind of reflect back to say, oh man, I need more power because this flash can't handle this time of day. Oh, I need this 8200 because, I take 15 shots with this and then I got to change the batteries. So it kind of set a baseline for me. So I'm grateful in that respect because I started acquiring things because I truly understand it why I needed them. Now, I will say at that same time, I was just starting this channel. So I I started to understand what the YouTube game was at that time. And so what the game was gear typically wins in terms of trying to grow your channel. So the next light that was coming out, that was projected to come out, was the Godox AD300 in 2020. And I will say, this is me being truthful. I bought that light because I knew that it would bring viewership to my channel to help me grow my channel. And the reason why I knew that is because it wasn't being sold anywhere in the States. I actually bought my 8300 from Canada. And when I bought it from Canada, I was one of the first people on YouTube with that light. So that's what made me go to the 8300, but it was the performance and portability and all of those things that made me stick to it. So once I got that light, I started using this less because the 300 could pretty much do everything that I needed. But from a beginner standpoint, um, I probably with a budget, because the 300 does cost a little bit more. I would definitely say the 8200. Let's see. What a day. Presidential inauguration, MLK and T Mid. Hey, y'all know I'm in the DMV, so the Washington Redskins then beat the Lions, and it's a good year. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so the 8200, we got we got a few things that we got that are different. We got the screen, um, the edges are a lot less beveled. All right. Uh, we got a new interface for the bare bulb. All right. That's solid. Uh, the user interface, I definitely like what they did with the user interface. Um, yeah. So I think I'll be able to show you all that. Go Commanders. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I started with a Canon M50 with the Nifty 50, ND filter in a speed light, I made bank. Yeah, hey, that's exactly what I had. The speed light, I actually still got it. And funny enough, Young Nuo actually sent me their version of the 8200. So I had the it's called like the YN 200, and it's Young Nuo's version of the 200. I never really used it as much because their trigger, it was outdated bad, and it was so clunky. It was like, man, something needs to happen right here. Um, so I plan on making this a formal video, but I had to come to the congregation and get you all's opinion on the 8200. And I'm glad that we could all agree on the thing. So do anyone in here have the new 8200 Mark II? So, of course, there's a difference with turning it on. All right. Okay. So let's see. I want the Westcott 800, but I can't switch flash systems. If you learn light, then you'll be good no matter what. That's 1,000%. You can't go wrong with that. If you know, you know. I had the same setup. I'm right there with you. Okay, so we do got some folks with with this flash. So I think it's like a thing where once you kind of understand it, let me see if I can find a good point. I don't have it, but I can DM my address. All right, so this was one thing. Um, actually, let me see if I can give y'all a good perspective. Now I am gonna make this a video, right? Uh, but you can kind of see we got the OG right here, and then we got the new version right here. All right, so you can kind of see this one is more modernized versus this one. But from a workflow standpoint, like here, you could change the channel and the group just from this button right here. On this particular one, you can't change it from these buttons. You gotta go into the menu, and then you gotta go into the menu setting, which which is wireless. All right. So this menu setting says wireless. I don't know if I would intuitively think that, okay, I need to click wireless to change my channel. I'm thinking like now that I know, but if I was just kind of starting, I don't think that I would know that. But okay. And then you could change the channel and the group and everything like that once you go into that particular mode. Now, it's a few other things like the light indicator and all of that stuff. And I plan to put out a video um, covering all of those things um, because that's like information that that people want to know, and we gotta document it, right? So that's kind of like my way of kind of noting all of those different things. So I think we have I think we have a case of saying that from the photography community, the 8200 is the GOAT. If you have a person that's just starting Flash and they have a budget, you would say the 8200. Now, if they don't mind getting things used, which I I have no problem getting something used, all right? If I can get it used, it will be gotten used. Once you change it once, you really can forget it unless you'll meet up and photo walks. Right. Okay. So that was like two things that I was looking at in terms of having to change the channel and everything. One is absolutely true that once you change it, you really shouldn't have to change it as much. Um, Two, if you have the X3 trigger, you can sync the trigger with the light and adjust everything because they talk to each other wirelessly. So that's an added benefit. So if you have like that nano, the Godox nano trigger, then you can use your trigger to communicate with the flash directly. And if you want to change anything like the group or the channel, anything like that, then you have access to do that. So it makes it a lot easier. The problem is funny that you say Marketplace King over here. It's funny that you say you will only need to change it in like a photo walk or a meetup because that was the exact time that I experienced the flashes kind of talking to each other. So just so you all know, at the same token, I am giving Godox AD200 Pro. I'm giving one of these away at my photo walk event in Las Vegas. Okay. So I'm giving one of these away there. And then also I'm giving one of these away to someone that is subscribed to my website. So if you are not subscribed there, I normally send out emails every once in a while on free gear that I'm raffling off. So if you're not subscribed there, go to tmid.com and then subscribe there. And I'm going to be giving off 8200 Pro to someone there as well. So we got multiple chances to get one of these 8200s. So yeah, the time that I faced that, I did a workshop in conjunction with uh, Viltrox and FJH, and we have Portrait Meet DC. And as soon as I turned on a flash, it was like nobody was shooting, but it was popping, 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 popping. And I'm like, what's going on? So this one building, it had three studios in there. And what I noticed was that flash was set to the same channel that the flash in the other studio that somebody else was using was set to. And you could kind of hear him shooting kind of through the wall, and you just kept seeing our flash going off. So I had to change the channel. And this wasn't on the 8200 Pro Mark II, but it was on the Godox 8600 Pro Mark II. And so, if you know, those series have the new interface. And that's where I had to dive into the menu system to change the channel. And I was like, ah, man, once I know that this is where you got to go, it's easy. But I feel like on this, on the OG 8200, it's like right there in your face. You know what I mean? So I don't need to dive into too much of anything. But I guess also it doesn't really have a dedicated menu system like the new version. So it's kind of two different things. So So for those who will watch this to come, we came with a couple different perspectives. All right. One, we all agreed in the chat that the 8200 is kind of the GOAT of the Flash. It kind of led the charge into the innovation of more lights, and also while keeping a certain budget, right? So, because as I heard before like the Godox systems and things like that, Flash was uh, a lot more expensive. That's what I hear. So they provided a affordable solution for folks. Now we have a little bit of discrepancy. This is point number two. Um, but we got some folks that definitely say Godox AD200 um, with a budget. Now, if I put that caveat, let's say they're new to photography and they want a good flash on a budget. Me personally, I'm going to say 8200. All right, you can't go wrong, especially with the bulb, the bare bulb attachment. Like that's the best combination right there. Now, if they have a little bit of money to play with, then what's going on, Ryan? Ryan says 8300 all day. So if they got the budget, then I'm gonna say 8200. If they have, if they got a little bit of money where they're like, well, I can spend a little bit of money, then that's where I double down and I say go 8300 without a doubt, without a doubt. I personally, I will never, like from a cost perspective, I will never suggest the 8400. And that is only because the 8300 has been able to shoot in every situation that I have put it in. And that is from every video that I made on my channel since 2020. So it is now 2025 and I'm still using the 8300. I have used it in the craziest situations and it has never failed me. So to that point, from a cost perspective, I I will never say, "Oh, get a 400, get a 600." Those are absolutely nice to have, without a doubt. They are absolutely nice to have, and they reassure you that you won't have a problem at all in terms of whatever lighting conditions that you are facing. That's without a doubt. I won't take that away. There are limitations that you have to deal with the 600. The 600 I know is a lot less travel friendly than the 400, and then you got the 300, which the 300 I think is the pinnacle for portability. The 200 is better, but the 300 is just as easy. The 400 is where you got to make a little bit of room for some things, and then the 600, forget about it, just put it in another case at that point. Yeah. The 300 was solid until I dropped it. And actually, you know what? Let's see. Can we get a we here the good community. We got 24 people here. I think my flash tube bulb, I think it costs $50. So what's that? We got 20 people. Well, let's see. So if we get $2 super chats from everybody in here. T-Mid can buy a new flash tube for the 300. Now, but I do need to order that flash tube because I'm going to Dallas at the end of this month. Um and so, man, I got like 2 weeks, so I got to make sure I order it um before Dallas. Or T-Mid is gonna be in Dallas with the 200s. Now, I don't know what the weather is looking like out there, so the 200 might be just fine, but I know when I take my 300, I ain't gotta worry about nothing. That's just point blank, plain and simple. So, do y'all agree with the synopsis? This is information for people that will watch this in the future, all right? Because I guarantee now I got to make this a more formal video, right? So I'll put that out at some point. But the takeaways I'm bringing to the community, and I urge you all to add your input. Let me know what your thoughts are so I can take it into account as well. Because again, we got everybody at different stages of their career in this community. We got hobbyists, enthusiasts, we got straight bona fide professionals. Um, and so everybody will have a different take. Like somebody that's a professional, they might just grab a couple 8200s because they nice, convenient, portable, and they just know it'll get the job done. And so it's not necessarily a problem with that. The 80. Hey Wayne, I appreciate that. The 82 300 revival fund. Hey, we gotta get it back. We gonna get it back on track. The 8300 has been good. And also, y'all know I dropped the 8300 like 5 times. So, Um shame on me for dropping the 8300. Uh when they come out with the 8300 Pro Mark II, you best believe I'm going to be up here supporting it 1000%. Because it's one of my favorite lights. So the first light I would say is POV. I appreciate you. So the first light we're gonna say is the 200, and y'all let me know if we all in agreement. We are all in agreement. The first light is the 200, and then after that, for me, it would be the 300, and some of you all would be the 400. But for you all that use the 600, what would you say the main reason is that you prefer using the uh the more high power lights? Because I know it gets into kind of flash durations. You got the recycle time is a big one. Uh, and recycle time is something that I never really paid attention to until I started looking at some of the other flashes. And you think 1 second, okay, that's quick. But until you are in the mood, the groove, and you're like shooting, and you're shooting, and you're shooting, and then you start noticing that recycle time become a factor, and you're like, man, this is slow. Then you start coming in with like, okay, yeah, this recycle time is trash. And it really does take some time to have to compare it to other situations to where you really, really can notice it. What's going on, Jones? Tristan Bell, what's going on? Someone on YouTube told him to. Hey, listen, at least I may be guilty. I may be guilty myself, but I will say if I'm guilty right now, we all guilty because I'm bringing it to the community for all of us to kind of battle it out and figure out what's the right situation here. What's the right situation? Uh, I use the 600 mainly to balance with the sun, but it can be too much at night. That, oh man, I want to say, man, I want to say back in 2021, I was using the AD600, and that is absolutely where you get like toasted at. Like when the sun is up, it's all fine and dandy. As soon as the sun starts to go down, man, you try to bring your power down as much as you can, and then the next thing that you do is you take your light back as far as possible just to try to get a nicely exposed image because the fidelity of the light power output it doesn't go down enough for you to still keep your softbox close to your subject in a low light situation. It's just absolutely too much power. I appreciate y'all hitting the like button for me. And I appreciate the donations. The softbox used and because of the sun. Okay. Roger that. The ND and 200 would do the same thing. Now the I don't know how many people how many of you all use a ND filter? Because I think that's something that does get overlooked, like the power of an ND. So I think I will say, if somebody asks me today what they should get, I would say get a 8200 and not just a ND filter, but I would tell them to try to get a variable ND filter because that variable ND filter, which the one that I use is a 3 to 7 stop, and I've never had to use all 7 stops. It'll be like 5.5, 6 maybe if it's super bright. But at that point, I can conquer anything. I can conquer anything. I can have battery power left over. I don't have to use high speed sync, so I get the true power output. And ultimately, that's the goal for me because I'm having multiple shoots, one after the other, especially when I travel. I typically have like 3 shoots lined up on any given day when I travel, and that's just to have the content packed away. And then also, it's actually multiple shoots, right? So, a typical workflow for me when I travel, just so you all know, if I have like 3 models lined up in one day, like say I'm in Miami, I'm definitely gonna get like a sunrise photo shoot. I'll get like a midday, and then I'll get like a sunset photo shoot. But with all 3 of those different models, these are all 3 different models, right? I'm at least doing 2 outfits with each model. 2 outfits, maybe even 3. So when it comes to my channel, now I got 3 models, 3 outfits. That's 9 different videos that I got in one day. And so sometimes this off on a tangent, but you see the content that I make, like I might have shot that last year, but I'm just now getting to it because often I forget about videos that I have because that's how much content that I be having. So that's kind of like my workflow right there. Uh-oh. Okay, so MP says the ND and 8200 can do the exact same thing, and MP says that is facts, but around noon it gets dicey. and and I would definitely say uh the 200 around that noon time is absolutely true, absolutely true. And that's why for me I push for that 300 because I've been in that situation where that 200 it gets kind of iffy in that situation. And that 300 gets me over that bump. So I have been in that exact situation where I'm like, I'm shooting this 8200 at almost full power, and I'm like full power, full power. And the 300 for me was the thing that pushed me over the hump where I didn't have those problems anymore. And I think I was doing high speed sync at that point. So when I added the ND filter, it's a no-brainer. If you don't shoot with an ND filter, trust me, that should be the next thing on your list. On my video, on my video, it's like the last video, maybe the second from last. I did a photo shoot in Miami. And so the girl was a ballerina, so she was flexible. And so in that description, I have a link to the ND filters that I use, and they are solid. Yeah. So you got the 200. Okay. So I think we got a good wrap on that. Now, for everybody that is in the chat now, where where do you typically shoot? Where are you watching from? First of all, let us know where you're watching from. Make sure you hit that like button. But also, are you on location photographer, or do you consider yourself primarily a studio photographer? We got Tennessee. All right, go Mo. We got Annapolis. We got Alabama, DMV in the building. All right, Markman. We got Cali. We got both location. I do both. Okay, so we got the flexibility here. So whatever you need, I got it. Now, interesting question for y'all though. When y'all first started, which one did y'all start with? Was it on location and then you went to studio, or vice versa? Because me, I was definitely on location, and then I switched to studio because it got cold in the DMV. And I was telling them I absolutely sucked at doing studio photos. I absolutely sucked, man. Oh man, it's like humble beginnings. I was showing them some photos on Instagram, and I was like, man, I can't believe I charged this girl to do this photo shoot. Still to this day, I feel like I should find her and give her her money back. It was bad. Hey, it was so much grain on those images. You would have thought I shot those with film. We got Texas in the building, on location, studio, natural light. Okay, okay. So I think that that transition is like an important one because I went through some phases with shooting outside. Outside, and let me know if you were the same. Outside, I was fascinated with, it being 2 o'clock in the afternoon and being able to change the lighting situation to where it looked like it was 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I was constantly just obliterating the ambient light so that it looked extremely moody. And then you got this pop of flash. And then over time, I slowly like came down from that part where I would just crush the ambient to where now I'm more of a level type person. I get a little bit of everything in there. We don't do returns. We just offer a new session. Studio is so much easier. Rodney Watkins, what flash are you using? So right now we talking about I just got this 8200 Mark II in, and I was telling everybody I have a photo walk in Las Vegas during WPPI. Um, and so the information to my photo walk is on my website, tmed.com, under events. I got two events going on, one in Puerto Rico, one in Las Vegas. You can find all the details. But for the one in Las Vegas, I'm going to be giving away one of these 8200 Pro Mark IIs. And then also on my website, tmed.com, if you subscribe over there, I'm going to be doing a separate giveaway for 8200 Pro Mark II. And so we're pretty much saying, I wanted to bring it to the community because, most of the time when we come out with these videos, I could easily come out with this video and say the 8200 is the GOAT. All right. But now I got all of you all in cahoots with me. So if anybody come in the comments talking crazy, all of y'all agree with me. So if y'all see him in the comments talking crazy, I'm expecting all of y'all to clap back for me. At half price. I just got gifted a flashpoint. Oh man. See, that's what I need. I need content creator friends like that. Somebody that just gift me a 600. I mean, hell, want somebody should just gift me a FJ 800. Westcott, if you listening to this, T Med would enjoy a FJ 800. Now, I don't know how much I would really need it, but I will find a way to use it. PLV, where you work? Hey, they giving out flashes like that. Hey, Mark, man, just let me know, T Med, if you have any issues, if you need to send it in for servicing, you can send it to my PO box and I'll get you right. I'll make sure it work and everything, so you won't have no problems with that. I test it out on a shoot, go live for you and everything. All right, I give it the certified stamp of approval right there. We'll make sure everything is good to go. So I think we have settled it. I think we have a good approach on what the situation would be. I have to do some numbers, but I do think like Marketplace on Facebook and Craigslist is one of my best friends. Um, my Nikon Z2. And oh man, my Nikon Z2, y'all, it has been collecting dust since I got this Z8. But this Nikon Z2, I actually got off of Craigslist and I got it for an extremely good deal. So if I could find something used, I'm going to get it. All right, I'm going to get it used because why not? It's already been uh in the field tested for me. That's how I look at it. Especially if it's something like a light or something. Yeah, that's not really a big deal for me. I'll take that used all day. Same person gave me two Paul C. Buff Einstein lights. Oh, hey, listen. I need to know who this person is because it seemed like they might have went from that 8600 and they might have went to Pro Photo or something. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like they done went to Pro Photo. They got some things going on, but that's definitely solid though. Like you can get something like that. if I had if I had somebody give me a 600, I would probably use it for sure for studio work. And then on location, I'm not sure. Maybe on location around the neighborhood. Maybe. Because even still for me, like my 300 gets the job done. So I would be saying like, do I want to carry this weight? And then I'm looking at like my C stand and just the fact that, when I'm on location, like I'm typically carrying my light stand and my light with me moving to the next spot. So if I can have it lighter, then I'm probably gonna opt for that. So I probably would keep the 600 in the studio. What you doing at work? Uh, Dream setup camera and lights. Man, dream. Let's see. I think right now I I would like the Hasselblad. I did get to use it, but I think I'm gonna use it some more. Um actually actually I think in Vegas, uh my guy Derek had it in Dallas and he let me use his Hasselblad. And I only had like 30 minutes with it because I was doing a photo walk in Dallas, and man, we had a great time in Dallas. It was a absolute success, and anybody watching this that attended, I definitely appreciate you coming out to Dallas. I mean, we had people from Chicago, people from Mississippi, people from Detroit, Philadelphia. Man, we had people from Louisiana, and it's always amazing to see everybody come together for like events that I put on from just like all across the US. Um, so that was definitely a great time. People literally from everywhere. Models were great, energy, location. But at that photo walk in Dallas, man, that Hasselblad was pretty solid. So I think that would be something. But I do think with that type, it's like a twofold type thing, especially on the YouTube side. I feel like you have to connect with the people, right? You could do it with more than just gear. But I do feel like gear is one piece that kind of brings you all together, right? And so what I've noticed is a lot of people on YouTube is kind of its own community, to be honest. The Hasselblad, because of the price point, you get certain type of people shooting that type of camera, which is to be understood, right? Um, but in terms of engagement, I feel like you get the most engagement when people can really like level set with what you're talking about. So obviously you got the big three camera brands where you're gonna have people that can understand where you're coming from. But when you start talking about phase one and all of that type stuff, I I think it would be a thing where uh it'll be kind of like its own thing. Let's see. And then lighting, I would say, I'm totally happy with the lighting setup that I have right now. Uh the Godox, as cheap as the system may be, it gets the job done and it works. And that's all that I require from my gear. Just work when I need you to work and we ain't gonna have no problems. Uh I have used I have used Profoto and I have used Westcott. I use the Alien Bees. I have not used like Ellen Chrome or the roto lights. So that would be something interesting to try out. Boy, if I had a Hasselblad, I wouldn't be able to shoot no more 125 quick sessions. Hey, listen, that make you definitely that definitely make you do something. That definitely make you do something. Like that price go up. You're like, hey, you know what I'm using right here? Oh man. Oh, we got Kenneth. Are you planning a collaboration with PhotoMeIQ, Bco, or any other content creators? Man, it is extremely tough to get people to come together, like just in terms of like schedule wise. So I would say almost like the best times to get people to come together, like me and Ike, we mainly see each other at conferences. And also, funny enough, uh me and Ike, we were in Miami at the same time in December. And man, they were kind of doing their thing, and I was kind of doing my thing because I was prepping um to get content with some models that were coming to Puerto Rico for my Puerto Rico content trip. So I was kind of on a mission. And so even we were still in Miami together and we still missed each other. It was crazy. so so I think man that now that you say that, that might be something to kind of aim for 2025 because I got some things that I normally do on my own right now, uh, but that definitely might be something to consider. So it definitely would be dope as well, just to bring uh, people together, the community. Now, I will say, in terms of distance and everything, you gotta make that work. You gotta make schedules work, and it's a whole piece. So it's easier when it's just me because I could say, oh, I'm gonna be in Dallas on this date, this time. This how we gonna do it. Um, and then now when it's other people. You gotta say, "Hey, does that work for you?" You're like, you know what I mean? So it's some stuff to work out, but that definitely should be something in 2025. But mainly, you definitely catch each other at like the conferences and things like that. What's going on? What is going on? But I think it's definitely good for the community. Photography community overall, you know, to have like those collaborations, those events, and things like that. What I have tried to do is I try to hit like a lot of the different places. So like if y'all know a place, if y'all know a city that would be good to go to, right? Like right now, I got a couple cities that I know that I have to go to. Um, One of them is I gotta do Los Angeles, California. Another one is Chicago. Another one is Detroit. Um, and then another one is New York for sure. Um, And I think those are all the major cities that's kind of left for me. Because I think I hit kind of everything else already by myself, like the Houstons, the Atlantas, the Miamis, the Dallas, Charlotte. I mean, yeah, I hit all those places. But I will say that, like I was looking at Philadelphia. But then I was thinking, and we got some Philly folks in here. Maybe y'all could chime in after the fact. I was thinking that Philly and New York might be so close that it might be one and the same almost. Like, people probably wouldn't mind going to New York or vice versa. But y'all can chime in and y'all let me know. Like if I did something in New York, would people from Philly just come to New York? Or would they be like, hey, nah, man, you gotta come to Philly, like, you know? See, Kenneth. Oh, let's see. Maybe add a couple days after a planned conference. Yeah, Kenneth, that would definitely be a solid plan right there. It's some new young brothers in Miami doing their thing. Oh yeah, I need to check that out. Come to Chicago in the summer. Yeah. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, Jimmy. That's the only time I'm coming to Chicago. Y'all will not catch me. Y'all won't catch me in the wintertime, definitely. Y'all not catching me when it's transitioning from winter to spring because y'all not trustworthy. Y'all weather not trustworthy. I need it to be straight up, no kidding, summertime. It has to be transition, and we gotta know that the temperature is gonna be solid. That's the only way I'm coming back to Chicago. Wayne, are you planning on adding some more stamps on your passport? So, man, in terms of trips, so this is another question to ask y'all while I got y'all here too, and of course everybody can chime in afterwards if you catch this on the back end because notice I'm doing this in vertical mode because YouTube is kind of pushing a vertical thing, so we'll see how that works out and whatnot. But one thing I was thinking about was you all as photographers, right? I want to get your perspective. You all as photographers, I know most of us are portrait photographers. We do weddings and things of that nature. How much interest would you have in something that is like a combination? And what I'm talking about is recently I did a trip to Iceland, one of the most unique and picturesque islands that I've been to. Very unique, very beautiful, a lot to see. Something I was thinking about doing was doing a content trip in Iceland. So there will be models there in Iceland. You can go to some of the locations that I have shot at that I'm telling you, 1000%, these locations, you've never shot at a location like this before. So for that alone in your portfolio, that would be dope. But the second thing is I would want to do I would want to do more than just shoot models personally. So I don't know if every other photographer feels like this, but I have just as much excitement shooting models as uh, doing landscape photography, shooting waterfalls, um, taking pictures on film of just like different landscapes. One of the highlights was capturing the aurora at night and kind of like searching and hunting for the aurora. Like those would be additional things that I would want to add to that trip, on top of shooting with models. But I understand every photographer isn't like that. So some photographers, if it ain't shooting models, then count me out. Which I respect. But that's the type of stuff, type of feedback that I'm kind of looking for because I would want to do a trip where it's like, yeah, we got models, but we also can like capture images that are like print worthy beyond models. You know what I mean? It's hard to use light in NYC. That's facts. You gotta know the spots though. They got not gonna let you shoot for real, for real. So I did. I actually got some connects in New York for certain locations. So it's specific locations where you got like free reign. You can set up everything. But to your point, it's some spots where, yeah, you'll have a difficult time. I did street photography when it snowed. It was relaxing. It didn't get views, but I enjoyed it. That's the thing, and you gotta know about getting views. Uh, because personally, like my if you all seen my not my last video, but the video before that, I was in Iceland. I enjoy putting together videos where it's like the travel vlog piece. So like I was able to show you all parts of Iceland and then go into the photo shoot. Now, a lot of people may have skipped the vlog part and went straight to the photo shoot, but that's why the skip button there. Like take what you like, take what you like. So that's kind of my spiel and what I am trying to do. Um, but this has overall been a insightful live, and hopefully it's insightful for those of you that's been watching, and um, those of you that have been watching while we've been having this discussion, but also everyone to come as well. Now, also, while I make this 8200 review, uh, I want you all to chime in real quick and let me know, is there anything in particular that is important to you when someone covers a off-camera flash? What what are you all looking forward to hearing about if you click on something that has a review of an off-camera flash? That's something else to take into consideration because I'm thinking these 200s they'll be great in somebody's kit for sure. Somebody will get some usage out of it, um, and make some fire, right? So we got the upgrades, facts. We gotta gotta cover that. Gotta cover that. I think I think the other thing that I would want to know is the alternatives, the alternatives from that particular model. And then it's always good to have insight on the experiences with that particular flash. And then I also try to talk about the limitations of a particular product, and then also combat that with workarounds. So, like we say, the 8200 has a power limitation, right? When it's like in bright sun. However, if you're using a high speed sync, that's one thing. But if you get an ND filter, that might afford you a little bit more. They all basically do the same things now. What I'm looking for now is recycling time. The mono light is fire. Hey, listen, if they ain't make nothing better, that was one thing that they needed to improve on. Because with the 8200, probably up to like 3 or 4 years, I didn't even know it had a mono light. I did somebody said that to me. I'm like, what? A mono light? I'm like, the 200 don't have no mono light. They turned that bad boy on. It was an absolute joke. It was an absolute joke. And you can only get it with the Fresnel head. So now the fact that you got the mono light with the Fresnel and with the bare bulb was a great improvement right there. That was a great improvement. So what I want you all to do, let's see. I love to see comparison videos. on more than one brand in one video, like two or three different brands. That makes sense. That makes sense too. So, and it's definitely some 200s out there. I might have to reach out to some other companies and tell them, hey, let me borrow your 200 for this video. Let me get your 200. I gotta see something real quick. But I think, yeah, um, letting people know alternatives is definitely important, and like understanding somebody's budget, because everybody's budget is different. Like, prime example. This might not be the best example, but the Viltrox 135 um, came out, right? And of course, I got it. I got it for free, right? Um, but in comparison to the G Master 135, it is a lot cheaper. One of the comments that I received on my video was that the 135 is not a budget lens, and it does cost about 750 to $800. But when I compare that to a $2,000 lens, and I'm like, would I rather pay 750 or would I rather pay 2000? For me, that's a significant difference. And for the focal length, I feel like it is a steal. But now others have brought it to my attention of you have the Sigma 135 and you have the Samyang 135. So you have some other options out there. But I say all of that to say what is truly budget is going to be different for everybody, because everybody's pockets are different. So you gotta kind of look into that as well. So I'm gonna end that right here. We had a good session. I didn't even plan to be on for an hour and a half. I just wanted to get the feedback, but also I haven't been live in a while, so it's all good. It's all good. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I'll catch you all in the next live. Peace.